How you doing, Jamie?
I'm doing very well today, sir. Thank you very much. At the end of a long day here at Merchant City Music in Glasgow, who have been looking after me, doing my Music Man stuff.
Yeah, and you having fun in Glasgow?
Lots of fun, yeah. It's a bit of a trek from down the other end of the country, but it's long overdue, sort of coming up. I get quite a lot of emails and sort of Facebook stuff from people from up here, you know, when are you going to come and play? So it's kind of nice, and I think with obviously over the last few years, with the sort of rising popularity of Lick Library and the way that it's spread, the faces of myself and, you know, Mike Caswell, Danny Gill, Andy James, you know, we've all had our profiles sort of brought up quite a bit, so it's kind of nice now to go into to come up and visit stores, you know, play some tunes, show some guitars, and have people come down and actually know, oh, you're the guy at Lick Library, so it's pretty cool. But having a great time here. Off to Edinburgh tonight and do another day of it tomorrow. So
having fun. So is this what you enjoy most then, about travelling around, meeting guitarists?
Yeah, I love it. A few of my few people have been, oh, you know, can you really be bothered to do that? You know, because I'm self-sufficient when I do these events. I've had a relationship now with Music Man since 1997, 1998, and probably before that was when I signed my contract, but probably before that my relationship started with them of always, you know, loving the Steve Morse guitar. And obviously, although this is a slightly cheaper version, but cheaper doesn't mean not very good, this was this was the Music Man guitar, this body style, that really grabbed me and made me want to play one, which was the Axis, when it was the Van Halen guitar. Now, the Music Man came to me and said, you know, we'd like to sort of invest time into a more sort of concentrated clinic program of getting people out and showing their face and showing the instruments, and we'd like it to be you. So we got a little setup together, you know, a little Played Me PA system, and just running a few bits and bobs. Get some lovely tones, and you know, it's a little bit of, you know, driving, and I like it. I feel like a one-man band, you know. I sort of get used to sort of doing my tours and stuff, and then come away from that and just come and hang out and talk to, you know, like-minded geeks about all things guitar, and you know, so it's good. It's good fun. I love it.
When you were younger, how did you imagine your career panning out? Did you imagine that this is how it would
I didn't, because I still get slightly embarrassed and slightly sort of not weirded out, but when people get, you know, about your guitar playing, because to my mind, I know there's so many better guitar players, but I just try to make music the way that I hear it. When I was a kid, I always imagined doing the whole rock star thing, and you know, let's face it, that has a shelf life of, you know, till you're probably in your mid-20s, and then you've got to make a career. And I came about at a time when, in the late 80s, early 90s, when the music just changed. I can remember Nevermind coming out by Nirvana, and Beavis and Butthead as well, funny enough. You know, they ended bands' careers because Winger, whether you like them or not, Red Beach is a phenomenal guitar player, and Winger are enjoying a little bit of a resurgence these days. But Stuart, the little geeky kid on Winger, on Beavis and Butthead, had a Winger t-shirt on, and there was a famous quote of Kip Winger being like, "That's it, party's over," you know, as soon as they saw that. And so when I was trying to sort of launch myself as a guitarist in a rock band, there's a lot of genre changes and things going on, and in the end I was just like, you know what, I just want to do what I want to do, and maybe hopefully become someone who gets hired to play. And I never imagined that it would end up, well, I never imagined it would end up like this, you know, from some of the people that I've played with in more recent times, but I certainly take every musical situation as an adventure, and you know, okay, this is where the path has gone now, let's go with that, and then see where it goes at another point, you know.
So obviously one of the people you've played lots with is Brian May.
Yes.
With We Will Rock You. So how did that come about?
Well, I got asked to do. I'm only a dep on We Will Rock You. I should point that out. I've been a dep for a guy called Alan Darby for many years, since about 2006, I believe. And in all that time, I never met Brian, never ever met him. And I then guested on the We Will Rock You tour, just decked on that for a week. One of the guys there was like, I'm sure Brian met you and heard you play, he'd be really into you. And I'm like, well, he's just not going to know who I am. And then I did a tour in Sweden called Champions of Rock, which was a Queen tribute tour, but it was with Neil Murray from Whitesnake, who's also at We Will Rock You. A lot of the guys from We Will Rock You on it. Phil Wilborn was also on guitar, was another dep. He deps on Laurie Wisewood's chair. There's a whole bunch of us. And the main singer was a guy called Peter Johansson, who played Galileo in We Will Rock You, which is the main part. And he'd gone back to Sweden. He was a bit of a star in Sweden. It was a little bit musical theatre, a bit, but with a bit of, quite rock. And it was a big production. We were playing large theatres and sort of 10,000, 8,000 seater arenas. And there was a girl singer on there called Kerry Ellis. Now Kerry was the original Meatloaf character in We Will Rock You. She kind of made the part. And there's a song called Only the Good Die Young that Roger and Brian wrote after Freddie's death, and she has really kind of made that her own. And I'd heard that she'd made an album that Brian made that was meant to be coming out at some point, and didn't really think much of it. We were sort of playing, and I had to do the Somebody to Love solo, and it was her big song, and there was a bit of a rapport there. And then out of the blue, I just got an email from her. It was probably 6 months after the tour. How you doing? I was like, oh, nice. Do you up for doing a gig with us? I was like, yeah, cool. What's that? She said, oh, with me, Brian May, and the London Philharmonic at Hyde Park for the last night of the proms. So I was like, okay. So Brian came down and watched me play at We Will Rock You. And it was pretty, sitting there playing the first act and knowing that the man who'd written the songs and played those iconic parts was there. Next thing, he came upstairs and there he is. I was like, oh, cool, and he offered me the gig. So did that first gig, and then we did a UK tour, and then sporadic gigs throughout the summer. And then it was 25th anniversary of Freddie Mercury's passing. The 20th anniversary, and his 65th birthday, and 40 years of Queen, and there was a Queen gig come up, and Brian asked if I would play second guitar with him, with Jeff Beck, and so, yeah, the coolometer was very good.
So I guess when I was asking you if you imagined yourself doing this when you were younger, I can imagine you never imagined being on stage with Jeff Beck and Brian May.
Brian May's the reason why I played. As I said earlier on when we were doing the clinic, how I used to air guitar or mime to Bohemian Rhapsody on a breadboard at my grandmother's house, and I used to, I don't know if ask anyone else from my generation, but I used to see Brian May on TV with his kind of cape thing and his curly lead and the smoke, and he was almost like a superhero. It was just like, you are the coolest. And I was like 4 or 5 years old, and you kind of think, oh, I'd love to do that, and So then, but you'd never imagine that you'd be able to go, yeah, I've just done a gig with Queen. It's pretty cool, yeah.
Yeah, cool. So obviously, with teaching a lot, going around doing clinics, you obviously get a chance to see lots of great players. But as well as that, with YouTube and the availability of free lessons and such, there's just a massive growing number of great players.
Yes.
So the question is, do you think there's still room in the modern age for the next sort of Steve Vai?
I think that I think after everyone's seen Guthrie Govan, then it's game over anyway. And that's not being sycophantic, because Guthrie has been a friend for years. I think that he is, without a doubt, probably one of the greatest guitar players alive and most versatile.
All time.
And every time I watch him, it makes me get chills. He's incredible. Is there room for another Steve Vai? Do we really need another Steve Vai? I think that guitar is moving in other directions. I think that guitar is definitely back, and it's kind of cool again to play instrumental music. It's obviously the days of the big hair and and the bright coloured guitars are sort of long gone. Some of the chaps are going, see you later, cheers. Thanks. Saying thank you. There you go. So the days of that, unfortunately, because I was a big Jason Becker fan, are sort of gone. But I think that it's a little bit cooler, a little bit hipper now. So I don't know whether there's room, whether it'd be another Steve Vai. I think that you know, the acoustic guitar as well these days with some of the players that you see, you know, obviously Michael Hedges and players like that have been around for years, and Tommy Emmanuel's, and then sadly, obviously a great friend of ours, Eric Roche, but he was, you know, there seems to be a bit more focus on players like that. Obviously Newton Faulkner, who studied under Eric, took that kind of style, virtuosic acoustic style to the mainstream. So I don't know, probably talking rubbish, but there's, you know, I just think that there's room for people to maybe just play music.
Yeah, as opposed to focusing on the kind of technical aspects.
Yeah, you know, I always try, can't play that technical, and you know, some people on YouTube say some pretty, you know, vile things about everybody. You know, they're all probably just 14-year-old boys sitting in their bedroom who can't be asked. You know, it's easier to have a go at someone. But at the end of the day, I've always tried to play something clean, have a nice tone, play it in tune, play it in time, and hopefully, you know, hopefully that's enough. But there you go.
That's good. So, what else is there for the future for you?
What else
is you've not done yet? Or?
For the future, I want to start working on a new CD. I must have it finished in time for the Frankfurt Guitar Show next year, because I'm out there with Black Star. More Brian stuff next year. Not too sure when. There's various rumours of bits and bobs, so I just sort of sit back and wait. And just lots more clinics, really. I'd like to sort of maybe do some do my own stuff in a band. Maybe another year of sort of working, travelling around the country, doing the clinics, building up, you know, the profile of the guitars, and working on my profile as not just as a hired guitar player who either is playing with someone or is emulating someone on a video, maybe being seen as a little more as an artist, you know. And I think I'd really like that. I'd like to be able to, this gives me an opportunity to go out and perform my own songs, but it's in a music store environment. It'd be nice to be playing clubs and gigs and doing my own thing if people are interested.
Yeah.
You know, who knows? Yeah. Hopefully.
Well, thanks very much for your time for doing this interview.
Cool.
And could you give us a little closing lick?
A closing lick? Well, we need the booster of doom.
Of course.